Hello guys, how are you all? So in this lecture video, I am going to discuss methods of differentiation part 5, where we are going to discuss logarithmic differentiation and derivatives of infinite series. So before we start off with the topic, I have a small announcement. So Unacademy Prodigy Talent Reward exam is conducted on 23rd January 2022 from 10 a.m. onwards. So through this, you have a chance to win education for life. And this test is for classes 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, IIT, JEE and NEET. And you will have exciting scholarships and rewards. And you can also compete at all India level for this. So what are those rewards? You can just see on 29th and 30th February, 29th January, 13th February. If you write the test and top it, you have a chance to win the education for life. And also rank 1, you have MacBook Air, rank 2 to 3, Apple iPhone, rank 4 to 5, Apple iPad, rank 6 to 40, Amazon Echo Dot, and 41 to 100, you'll get Amazon vouchers. In addition to that, there are some scholarship slabs. That is rank 1 to 10 will be 100% scholarship. Anyone who gets a rank from 11 to 25 will get 75% scholarship, rank 26 to 100, 50%, 101 to 200, 25%, and 201 to 500, 15%. And there is one more exam called Unacademy Champs 2.0, which is conducted on January 2nd, 2 p.m. It's a 3-hour test. So last year, our topper Amaya Singhal was also a part of this program, and he secured JEE Main All India Rank 1. So you can actually write this test and Champs 2.0 free test, and you can have a chance to become a part of a peer group where you have all topper students, and also you will be taught by the top educators. You can also become a part of dedicated leadership batch, and you can prepare with curated questions. You also have a chance to have your college expenses covered, so you can use my code EVK Live to enroll for this. And then we have an IIT JEE Combat conducted every Sunday at 11 a.m. So it has 21 questions in 60 minutes. So it's a separate test for 11th, 12th, and 13th grade students. And when you write this test, normally the questions of this are just similar to the JEE type of questions, only IIT JEE quality questions based on the current syllabus of mains and advanced. And also the solutions are curated by the top educators, and you can also get video solutions after writing the test. In addition to that, you can get a real-time all India rank. So after this, you can also have a chance to win a merit certificate. This is for top 25 rankers. And also rank 1 holder can get gold medal plus merit certificate and 100% scholarship. Rank 2 can get silver medal, merit certificate and 100% scholarship. Rank 3 will get bronze medal, merit certificate and 100% scholarship, and many more. So you can use my code EVK Live to enroll. Then we have All India Mock Test Series for JEE 22, which has started from 25th December. 2 to 5 is the timing of the test. This is also All India test for mains pattern for PCM. So the test will be taken by all students at all India level, and the questions are again prepared by top educators. And after the test, you will get a video solution, and also you'll get a detailed analysis of your performance, your weak and weak areas, and where you need to improve all those things. So the top 200 learners can get scholarship up to 100% here, and you can also again use my code EVK Live to enroll for this. So that's it about our announcement. Now let me start off with our topic for today, that is logarithmic differentiation. So when do we use logarithmic differentiation? Whenever you have a function power function, like whenever you have some f of x power g of x, to find dy by dx, we can find out the derivative using logarithmic differentiation. So what do we do to find the derivative? First thing that you need to do is apply logarithm on both sides to the base e. So log y to the base e is equal to logarithm of f of x power g of x to the base e. And then the power gets multiplied to the logarithm, because we have a property in logarithm that logarithm of m power k base a is equal to k times log m base a. Using this property of logarithm, you can write this as g of x into log f of x base e. And after you get this, this was the value of log y. Differentiate both sides with respect to x, you'll be getting derivative of log y as 1 by y dy by dx, because the derivative is with reference to x, not with reference to y. You'll also get dy by dx. For RHS, apply product rule. So write g of x as it is, differentiate log f of x, for which you'll get 1 by f of x into f dash x. Because after differentiating log, you have to differentiate f also. Again, plus write log function as it is, differentiate g, you'll be getting g dash x. So this has given us 1 by y dy by dx equal to 1 by y dy by dx equal to, we got f dash x by f of x into f dash x by f of x into g of x plus log f of x into g dash x. So if you want dy by dx, you can multiply y on the other side and replace y with f of x power g of x. So y will be f of x power g of x. You can write that into the rest of the term inside is f dash x by f of x into g of x plus log f of x into g dash of x. So you are not expected to by heart and remember this as a formula, but whatever method I used here, the same method is applied whenever you have function power function. So this is a general method. Those who want to by heart can by heart this formula, but it is difficult to remember so many formulas. So it would be better if you just know the method. What do we do? Whenever function power function is there, apply logarithm on both sides and differentiate, and then find dy by dx. So let us apply it for a few questions and see. So the first question is, if y to the power of x is equal to x to the power of y, then you have to find out the value of dy by dx. So the options are y by x, y into x log y minus y divided by x into y log x minus x. That is the second option. So once let me erase and write this properly. And the third option is x by y. And fourth option is x log y divided by y log x. So you can see that in the equation given here, y power x is having function power function, RHS is also having function power function. So obviously we have to apply log on both sides and differentiate. So let us start with y power x equal to x power y. So apply logarithm on both sides to base e, you will get logarithm of y power x base e is equal to logarithm of x power y to the base e. So then it is equivalent to writing x log y, because the power gets multiplied to the log, you get x log y equal to y log x. Then you can differentiate this using product rule on both sides. So if you apply product rule in LHS, it will be x into derivative of log y will be 1 by y dy by dx. So you'll get x by y dy by dx plus log y you write as it is and differentiate x, you'll be getting the answer for derivative of x as 1. So that is the derivative of LHS with product rule. Now write the derivative of RHS with product rule. So y will be written as it is. Log x will have a derivative 1 by x plus log x you write as it is. Derivative of y will be dy by dx. So now what you need to do, collect the terms of dy by dx on one side, remaining on the other side. So it will give you dy by dx into what is left out in LHS after taking this out, x by y is left out. In the RHS, we had log x term, so that will be remaining after taking it common. And the remaining terms, you bring it to RHS, so you can write y by x minus log y. So now let us simplify this taking LCM. So LHS will be dy by dx into x minus y log x by y. And in RHS, you'll be getting, after taking LCM, you'll get y minus x log y divided by x. So then if you need dy by dx, this term y multiplies to RHS and this will get divided to RHS. So we'll get dy by dx equal to y by x into y minus x log y divided by x minus y log x. So this is how you can find the derivative in this kind of problems. And this is exactly similar to second option. You can take minus common in numerator and denominator and cancel out. Then it will match with the second option. It will match with the second option. So choice B is the correct answer. But they have just given x log y minus y. You can take minus common in numerator and denominator and cancel. It will be same as that option. So now we'll take up one more question. If x to the power of y equal to e power x minus y, then what is the value of dy by dx? So let me give the options. The first option is 1 plus x divided by 1 plus ln x. Second option, 1 minus ln x by 1 plus ln x. So ln x means logarithm to base e. And third option is not defined. And fourth option is ln x by 1 plus ln x whole square. So here you want the answer completely in terms of x itself. So it would be better first you express y in terms of x. But again, because your function power function in LHS, we can start with this problem by applying log on both sides. So x power y equal to e power x minus y. Apply log on both sides to base e. It will give you log of x power y to the base e equal to log of e power x minus y base e. So the power gets multiplied to the logarithm and it will reduce to y log x base e. It will be reduced to y log x to the base e is equal to, here we'll have x minus y multiplied and you'll get x minus y log e base e. Log e base is anyway 1. So we can say y log x is equal to x minus y. Don't differentiate directly because you'll have both x and y in the answer if you differentiate directly. Since you want y derivative only in terms of x, first you rearrange the terms, write these two together. You'll get y into 1 plus log x equal to right hand side is x. So the value of y will be x by 1 plus log x. After you express y in terms of x now, write down the derivative using quotient rule. So what is the value of dy by dx? Dy by dx equal to denominator into derivative of numerator v du by dx. So 1 plus log x into derivative of x, which is 1, minus numerator into derivative of denominator. So derivative of 1 plus log x, 1 will have a derivative 0, log x will have a derivative 1 by x divided by square of denominator, that is 1 plus log x whole square. So therefore the numerator will be 1 plus log x minus this x into 1 by x will be giving you 1. So we'll be left out with 1 plus log x whole square in denominator again. This 1 cancels out and finally you get ln x divided by 1 plus ln x whole square, and you can see clearly this is nothing but option D is the answer. So choice D is the correct answer. So this question is also quite simple. So let us take up a few more problems. So I just have 2 more problems on this topic. We'll do that. If x is equal to e power y plus e power y plus e power y and so on up to infinity, where x is greater than 0, then you need to find out dy by dx. The options are x by 1 plus x, 1 by x, 1 minus x by x, and 1 plus x by x. These are the options. So we have x is equal to e power y plus e power y plus e power y and so on up to infinity. How to find dy by dx? So whenever you have an infinite series like this, at some stage it keeps repeating. So what you can see here, if I just circle this term, it still looks like x. If I don't consider the remaining part also, it still looks like x only. So even if one term I don't write in the infinite series, it doesn't make difference. So it will be e power y plus x itself. So the circled part can also be called as x itself. This is also x only. This is also x only. So x is e power y plus x. Apply log, it will give you log x base e equal to y plus x into log e base e, which is 1. So log x is y plus x. So y will be equal to log x minus x. So now what is dy by dx then? If you differentiate, log x will have a derivative 1 by x and x will have a derivative 1. So we got an answer 1 minus x divided by x, and that's nothing but choice C is the correct answer. This was the third problem. Now another problem we'll do, and for logarithmic differentiation we'll conclude with that question. If we have x power m into y power n equal to x plus y power m plus n, we have to find out dy by dx. The options are y by x, x plus y by xy, xy, and x by y. So for this question, x power m, y power n equal to x plus y power m plus 1. We can try directly also, but applying log will make it simple. So let us apply log. So log of x power m into y power n base e will be equal to logarithm of x plus y to the power m plus n to the base e. So now in the left hand side, we know that whenever you have a logarithm of product, you can write sum of individual logs. So you can write logarithm of x power m base e separately plus logarithm of y power n base e separately. In RHS, the power multiplies to the log, you will be getting m plus n log of x plus y to the base e. So after this, again, log of x power m can be written as m log x and log of y power n can be written as n log y. So you can write this as m into log x plus n into log y equal to m plus n log of x plus y. Now, if you perform differentiation on both sides directly, the derivative of this will be m into 1 by x and the derivative of this will be n into 1 by y dy by dx. That is equal to, in RHS, we'll write m plus n as it is because it's a constant. Log will have a derivative 1 by x plus y, and for differentiating x plus y, you can write derivative of x is 1, derivative of y is dy by dx. So then you can just open the brackets in RHS and group the terms which are similar, like dy by dx terms together and the remaining terms on one side. So if I write dy by dx here into, I have n by y in LHS, and there is a term with m plus n by x plus y dy by dx multiplied. That term you bring it to LHS and group it with this. And the other term will be m plus n by x plus y into 1, that you write as it is. And you can bring this m by x to RHS and group it with that. So now you can simplify and find dy by dx from this. So dy by dx into LCM is y into x plus y here, and this x plus y multiplies here, you get nx plus ny. This y multiplies here, you get minus my minus ny. The same way in RHS, LCM is x into x plus y. So this x multiplies here, you get mx plus nx, and that x plus y multiplies here, you get minus mx minus my. So once you do this manipulation, you can now see that this ny will cancel here, here mx will cancel, and both the denominators x plus y also will cancel. So we are left out with dy by dx into, what is left out in the numerator, nx minus my by y. And the other side, if you see, you are left out with nx minus my divided by x. So again, cancel this term, we'll be getting dy by dx equal to y by x. So therefore, the correct answer for this is choice A. So this completes our problems of logarithmic differentiation. Now we'll write down a few problems related with the derivatives of infinite series. Already one of the questions we have done related with infinite series here also, but we'll exclusively do derivatives involving infinite series. Derivatives involving infinite series. So we don't have any method to discuss as such. Only thing is, even if you neglect one term, the same function will repeat. That logic is used in all the questions. So let us take up the first question. If y is equal to x square plus 1 by x square plus 1 by x square plus 1 by x square and so on up to infinity, then you need to find out dy by dx. So the options are 2xy by 2y minus x square, xy by y plus x square, then we have xy by y minus x square, and last option 2xy by 2 plus x square by y. So you can see that you have an infinite series in RHS, and what is the series? X square plus 1 by x square plus 1 by x square plus 1 by x square and so on till infinity. So you can see that if I circle this part, it still looks like y, even if I neglect the first x square term. So this part, excluding that 1, I'm sorry. So let us remove that 1 here. I'll just circle only this part. This part still looks as y. So it is y equal to x square plus 1 by y. That still looks like y only. So whenever infinite series is there, you can neglect one term and remaining still looks like given y only, and then simplify this. So if you now differentiate this on both sides, what do we get? So before you differentiate, you can even multiply and write y square equal to x square y plus 1. Find out the LCM. Now you differentiate. You will get 2y dy by dx in LHS. For RHS, apply product rule. We get x square into dy by dx plus y into 2x. And for 1, differentiation will be 0. Now collect the terms of dy by dx together. It will give you dy by dx into 2y minus x square together, and 2xy will be left out in RHS. So from this you can conclude that your dy by dx is equal to 2xy divided by 2y minus x square. That's nothing but choice A. So this question is also quite simple. If you know this step, the problem is easy. So let us take up one more question. If y is equal to square root of log x plus square root of log x plus square root of log x and so on up to infinity, then you need to find out dy by dx. So the options are x by 2y minus 1, x by 2y plus 1, 1 by x into 2y minus 1, and the last option is 1 by x into 1 minus 2y. So now we'll see how to find derivative again. Again, you can see there is an infinite series which repeats. So it looks like log x plus root of log x plus root of log x and so on till infinity. So when you look at the series again, from here it repeats. So I can still replace this with y only. So y is root of log x plus y. And to make it simple for differentiation, we'll square it. So this will give you y square is equal to log x to the base e plus y. Now differentiating both sides, y square will have a derivative 2y dy by dx. And log x has the derivative 1 by x and this y has the derivative dy by dx. Now you group these two together, you will get dy by dx into 2y minus 1 is equal to 1 by x. So therefore, what is dy by dx? 1 by x into 2y minus 1. And this is nothing but choice C. So one more question we have on this. Let us do that. That is the last question for this particular topic. Let f of x is equal to x into root of x into root of x into root of x and so on till infinity, where x is positive. Then you need to find out the value of f dash of 5. So let me give the options. They are 5, 20, 10 and none of these. So this is a very simple question again. So you can see this is of the form f of x is equal to x into. So it is repeated from where? Suppose you consider this part. So it is not repeating from x here. It is repeating from next stage. So what I will do? Let us suppose first we'll simplify that part which is written here. That is starting from the next term. That is I'll consider this part as z. Let z equal to root of x into root of x into root of x and so on up to infinity. So this is same as writing z equal to root of xz, because from here also it looks like z only. So z square is equal to xz. So if you cancel z on both sides, you are going to get z equal to x. Z is equal to x. Therefore, what is your function f of x? It was x into the remaining part. I called it as z, x into z. So there is x into x, that is x square. So f of x is x square. So f dash x is therefore equal to 2x. And once you know this, what is f dash of 5? It should be 2 into 5. So answer has to be 10. So that means choice C will be the correct answer. So with this, we can conclude the problems related with derivatives of infinite series. Now we'll also take up some results related with higher order derivatives. But in order to discuss about higher order derivatives, I'll have to first discuss a concept before I do the problems. So you can now write down higher order derivatives. So I'll discuss a few formulae first. Let's say the first result is we have y is equal to x to the power of n. And you want to find out the 10th derivative. So you cannot differentiate 10 times when you do a question. So we'll derive a general result now and then we can use that directly in problems. So usually dy by dx we can denote with the notation y1 in short form. D square y by dx square you can denote with y2 and so on. Like that nth derivative in general d power n by dx power n you can denote with yn. That is the notation you can use for derivative as a short form. So when I write the first derivative y1, the derivative is nx power n minus 1. When I write second derivative y2, n is a constant, x power n minus 1, apply the same derivative formula, n minus 1 x power n minus 2. One more we'll write to generalize it. So if it is y3, this n into n minus 1 will remain the same. X power n minus 2 again will have a derivative n minus 2 x power n minus 3. So we can observe a pattern here in general that if it is yn, it will have n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on up to n minus of 1 less than this number. Like when it was 3, you got 2. When it was 2, you got 1. So if it is n, you'll get till n minus 1. And the power of x will be n minus of, if y3 is there, you got minus 3. If y2 is there, you got minus 2. So if yn is there, it will be n minus n. That means finally it will become x power 0. But rest of the terms are of the form n minus 1, n minus 2 up to 1. Multiplied with x power 0, which is 1 only. So we actually got the nth derivative as n factorial. So therefore, you can say that for y equal to x power n, what is the formula for nth derivative? N factorial. So if I ask you what is its 10th derivative, directly you can write the answer as factorial 10. So these formulae are very, very important. Otherwise, the question becomes too lengthy when you solve it. You remember them and use it directly in the questions. So what if there is a change? Like instead of x power n, if it is ax plus b whole power n, how does the result change? So if it is y1 again, it is n into ax plus b power n minus 1, and ax plus b derivative is a power 1. Next time when you differentiate, it is n into n minus 1, ax plus b power n minus 2. Next time you will get the derivative as a square. So proceeding like this, if I write y3, it is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 again, ax plus b power n minus 3 a cube. So if you analyze the pattern, you can see it is of the form n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on up to. If there was 3, you got 2. For 2, you got 1. So the last number is n minus 1. And the power of ax plus b will become n minus of the number same as what you wrote here, the subscript. So n. And the power of a will be same as this. So a power n. So again, you can see that this product is factorial n. And ax plus b power 0 is 1. You are just left out with a n factorial. So the answer is therefore n factorial into a power n. So this result for yn is now n factorial multiplied with a power n. So this is just a line. You may think it is division. So I'll just erase that. So I mean to say that was actually factorial n. That's why I just wrote that. So this part is factorial n multiplied with this part. So ax plus b power 0, you got 1, a power n is remaining. So the formula becomes factorial of n into a power n if it is the nth derivative for ax plus b power n. Like this, we can also derive derivative formula for log x. Let's say, for example, you want to derive a derivative formula for logarithm of x to the base e. So if you want a derivative formula for this, write dy by dx equal to log x will have a derivative 1 by x or x power minus 1. If you differentiate again, this is y1. So I'll write in short form itself. So if I want y2, what should I do? So y2 is equal to, if I differentiate again, it is minus 1 x power minus 2. If I write y3, minus 1 into minus 2 x power minus 3 and so on. So proceeding, you can see the pattern would be something like yn is equal to minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3 and so on up to till where you are going to write. If it is 3, you got 2. If it is 2, you got 1. So if it is n, you will get minus of n minus 1, 1 less into x power minus of, if it is 3, you got power minus 3. For 2, you got minus 2. For n, you will get minus n. So that is a pattern that you can notice. So you can clearly see if you take minus common in all of them, there are n minus 1 terms. So it will be minus 1 power n minus 1 into the product 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1 is factorial n minus 1. And we got minus 1 power n minus 1 because minus 1 is multiplied n minus 1 times. It is occurring in each one of them. And that x power minus n, you can write in denominator as x power n. So this is the formula you can use for nth derivative for log x. So similarly, we can also derive the nth derivative formula for sine function, cos function. Like for example, you have something like sine of ax plus b, and you want to derive a formula for the nth derivative. Then first derivative is y1 equal to sine will have a derivative cos, and ax plus b will have a derivative a. So you'll get a here. When you differentiate again, this a will be written same. Cos will have a derivative minus sine ax plus b. Again, ax plus b will have a derivative a. You will get a square. This was power 1. Again, if you write y3, this a square will be same. Minus of sine will have a derivative cos ax plus b into ax plus b will again have a derivative a, so it actually becomes a cube. So now one more a will multiply, so a square is going to become a cube. So if you look at the pattern, the power of a is same as this lower suffix. So if it is nth derivative, it is going to have a power n, of course. But what kind of function will be there? So you should write a common function in all. So because the question is sine, I'll convert in sine. So the first term that you got a into cos theta can be written as sine of 90 plus theta. I can write sine of pi by 2 plus ax plus b. And the second one I can write, there is a minus sign of course, but you can write, if I write cos of 90 plus theta or sine of 180 plus theta is better. So I'll write that as, just erase and write So better once I'll erase and write more clearly. So it is more congested there. So let me write properly. So when you got this, you can write cos as sine of pi by 2 plus ax plus b. Just to compare. Then you differentiate this one only before circling the previous one. You differentiate, you got a into cos will have a derivative minus sine of ax plus b into a again. So it has become a square. So from here you can see it is a square into sine of pi plus ax plus b. So pi you can also write 2 into pi by 2. Similarly, when you do for y3, you are going to get an answer as a cube into sine of 3 pi by 2 plus ax plus b. So proceeding in this way, when you observe the pattern, you can see that if it is nth derivative, you can write that as a power n into sine of n pi by 2 plus ax plus b. This is how you can find out the nth derivative for sine of ax plus b. Even for cos function, it is similar. So I'll write without the proof. It is same again. So if it is a function like y equal to cos of ax plus b, then you can say yn is equal to a power n into cos of n pi by 2 plus ax plus b. So the same logic you can even apply for other functions. So I just showed for 5 functions, but you can apply it any number of times. Like for example, you have e power ax, you want nth derivative. What is y1? E power ax into derivative of a, so a power 1. Again, if you differentiate, you'll get e power ax into a, but a is already there, so a square. So seeing the pattern, you can say the nth derivative formula in this case will be a power n e power ax. So like this, for any type of function, you can observe the first, second, third derivatives and derive a formula for its nth derivative so that you can find any higher order derivative. So based on this, we can now work out a few problems. So let us take up the first question. If y is equal to ae power mx plus be power minus mx, then you need to find out the value of d square y by dx square minus m square y. So let me give the options: m square into ae power mx minus be power minus mx. The second option is 1, third option is 0, and fourth is none of these. So all of you can attempt this problem. I'll just discuss it. So you wanted a result with second derivative connected with y, y2 minus m square y. That's what you want. So let us start with y is equal to ae power mx plus be power minus mx. So if you find the first derivative y1, it will be a into, a is a constant, e power mx derivative is e power mx into derivative of mx, which will give you m. For the second term, b into derivative of e power minus mx is e power minus mx into derivative of power minus mx, which is minus m. After this, you differentiate one more time because you want y2 in the answer. So y2 is equal to this am is a constant, write it as it is. When you differentiate e power mx, you will again get e power mx into m. Again, here plus into minus, you can write minus, write dm as it is. If you differentiate e power minus mx, you will get e power minus mx into, again derivative of minus mx in the power is minus m. So this will give us am square e power mx plus bm square e power minus mx. So if you consider m square common, you will be getting ae power mx plus be power minus mx, and this term is nothing but our y itself. So you can get this is equal to m square y. So y2 is equal to m square y, and we wanted to find out the value of y2 minus m square y. Therefore, it comes out to be 0. So our answer is therefore choice C. So that's the correct answer. So let me take up one more question. So the second question given here was nth derivative of log x, which I already derived. So we can skip that. Then I'll give you one more question. If y power 1 by m is equal to x plus root of 1 plus x square, then what is the value of 1 plus x square y2 plus x y1? So the options for this are m square y, m into y square, m square into y square, and none of these. So we again want a result involving the second derivative. Let's see how we can do this. So we have y power 1 by m equal to x plus root of 1 plus x square. So to make it simple, you better take m to the other side. You can write this as y equal to x plus root of 1 plus x square power m. And you wanted a result in y2. So if you differentiate first time, so y1 is equal to, y1 means dy by dx. It is like power function x power n. So n into x power n minus 1 is the derivative. So m into x plus root of 1 plus x square power m minus 1 is the derivative corresponding to power. Multiplied with, you again have to differentiate this x plus root 1 plus x square. So x will have a derivative 1. The root will again have a derivative 1 by 2 root 1 plus x square. Also 1 plus x square will have a derivative 2x. So you have to do the derivative till you exhaust inside, till the inner function. Then this will give you m into, this 2 cancels out, x plus root 1 plus x square power m minus 1 multiplied with, after taking LCM, you will get root of 1 plus x square plus x by root of 1 plus x square. And since you have a similar term in the power, similar term here with different power, when you multiply the powers add up, so it will give you x plus root of 1 plus x square power. There is m minus 1 here and 1 here in the power. When you add, it becomes m, and denominator will be left out with root of 1 plus x square. And clearly you can see that x plus root of 1 plus x square power m was actually y. So to make it simple, we can also write y1 is equal to my by root of 1 plus x square. So before you differentiate again, this term will be replaced with y. So we have y1 is equal to my by root of 1 plus x square. Since you need a result in second derivative, either you can differentiate this directly, but usually it is better if you remove the root by squaring and then differentiate. So this is same as y1 square into 1 plus x square equal to m square y square upon squaring. Now differentiate both sides. For LHS, you apply product rule. It will give you y1 square into derivative of 1 plus x square will be 2x. Then write 1 plus x square as it is. Derivative of y1 square will be 2 into y1. Again, derivative of y1 is y2 equal to, in RHS, don't use UV because m square is a constant. Just write derivative of y square, it is 2y into y1. 2y into dy by dx, which is y1. Now both sides you divide by 2y1. You can divide by 2y1 on both sides. When you divide with 2y1, LHS will have xy1 left and 1 plus x square y2 left. In RHS, you will be left out with m square into y. So this is the required answer, and that's nothing but which option? Choice A is the correct answer for this. So this is also quite simple. So let me take up one more question. If y is equal to a into x power n plus 1 plus b into x power minus n, you need to find out the value of x square into d square y by dx square. So let me give the options. The options are n into n minus 1 into y, n into n plus 1 into y, then ny, and finally you can have n square into y. So let us start with y equal to ax power n plus 1 plus bx power minus n. This is given. You wanted to find the result in terms of second derivative. That is, you wanted to find x square into y2. So just like previous questions, you can start differentiating directly. y1 is equal to a into, a is a constant. So derivative of x power n plus 1 is n plus 1 into x power n. Power will reduce by 1. And if you differentiate second term, b is a constant. Derivative of x power minus n is minus n into x power minus n minus 1. So again, you differentiate one more time, you'll get y2 equal to a into n plus 1 is a constant. X power n will have a derivative again nx power n minus 1 minus bn into, what is the derivative for x power minus n minus 1? Minus n minus 1 into x power minus n minus 2. 1 will subtract again in the power. So then you can see it is a times n into n plus 1 x power n minus 1 plus b times n into n plus 1 x power minus n minus 2. This is your y2, but you wanted x square y2. Multiply both sides with x square. So x square y2 will be equal to a times n into n plus 1. When you multiply with x square, already we had x power n minus 1. The power 2 will add, it becomes n plus 1. Similarly, in the second one, you write bn into n plus 1 as it is. When you multiply with x square, it becomes x power minus n, because plus 2 will cancel with minus 2 when you multiply with x square. So then you can clearly see it can be written as x square y2 is equal to n into n plus 1 is common in RHS, and we are left out with a times x power n plus 1 plus b times x power minus n. and this is nothing but y itself. So you get an answer n into n plus 1 into y. And this is choice B. So we can say the answer is choice B. So one more question for this topic. Suppose you have y is equal to say sine of 4x into cos of 3x. I want to find out d power 20 y by dx power 20. So what is the meaning of this? This is same as finding the 20th derivative. This is same as finding the 20th derivative y20. So y20 is only your d power 20 y by dx power 20. So when you're asked to find out this kind of derivative, so you have to find out the 20th derivative of this. So to find the 20th derivative of this, first you simplify this, because only if it is sine or cos function, I already gave a formula for nth derivative, but there is a product. So whenever you have a product of 2 or 3 trigonometric functions, you can convert that into sum or difference using trigonometry formulas. So what I will do, I'll write that as y equal to half into 2 sine 4x cos 3x, multiply and divide by 2, and use the trigonometry transformation formula. So it becomes half into what is 2 sine a cos b, sine of a plus b 4x plus 3x plus sine of a minus b 4x minus 3x. So once it converts into this form, if you have to now find out the 20th derivative y20, you can write half into. So we already know the formula for nth derivative. So sine ax plus b, you know nth derivative. What was that formula? A power n. So a is 7. N is the derivative which you have to find. So a power n sine of n pi by 2. So 20 pi by 2 plus ax plus b. Similarly, you apply nth derivative formula for the next term. A is 1. So 1 power 20 sine of n pi by 2. N is again 20 pi by 2 plus ax plus b means x. So this will be half into 7 power 20 into 2 cancels out 10 times. Sine of 10 pi plus 7x will be sine 7x only. And here 1 power 20 is 1 and sine of 10 pi plus x is sine x. So this will be the 20th derivative. So whenever you have nth derivative in trigonometric functions such as this, what do we do? First you convert the product into sum or difference. You can have more than 2 functions also. Only thing is, if it is more than 2, you may have to apply the transformation formula repeatedly till you get sum or difference of 2 or more functions, and then use the nth derivative formula. Okay. So I hope it is clear to all of you. We are now left out with one last topic for this chapter, that is derivative of a determinant. Let us complete that. Derivative of a determinant. So the first case, suppose if there is something like d by dx of a determinant where you have some f of x, g of x, and some p of x, q of x. So it's not necessary that all the elements must be functions of x. Sometimes you can have some constants also. Then if it is something like this, what is the general rule? So whenever it is a 2 by 2 determinant, when you differentiate, it will split into sum of two determinants. So what you need to do is you write here sum of two determinants, where in the first determinant, differentiate first row. In the second determinant, differentiate second row. And write the other one as it is. So second row will write same here. And here we'll write first row same. Like this, you can split into sum of two determinants. And what happens if one row has constants? Like for example, if it is d by dx of f of x, g of x here, and some a and b here. Whatever rule I applied with determinant here, with rows can apply with columns, because when you take the transpose of the determinant, we know the determinant of a matrix and determinant of its transpose are equal for a square matrix. So whatever you apply with rows is applicable with columns, but just follow one rule. I am doing with rows, you can fix up on that. So if you now write the derivative here, you can see that in the first derivative, you'll write f dash x, g dash x with ab written as it is. In the second derivative, the derivative of second row is 0. First row is f of x and g of x. And you know that in a determinant, if a row contains all zeros, it will become 0. So you'll be just left out only with one determinant here, f dash x, g dash x, and ab. That means if there is a constant set of constant terms in one row, just differentiate only the other row where you have functions of x. This is for 2 by 2. It's equally valid with 3 by 3 also. So let's say I have a 3 by 3 determinant d by dx of, suppose I have functions like a of x, some b of x, and c of x. Then p of x, q of x, and r of x. And then I have another function, set of functions, f of x, g of x, and h of x. So if you have to differentiate this determinant, what do we do? So if it is 3 by 3 determinant, it can split into sum of 3 determinants. When you differentiate, it will be sum of 3 determinants. In the first determinant, we'll differentiate first row. We can do with column also. Either you can do for first column, second column, third column, or first row, second row, and third row. So we are just following only one of the methods throughout so that it is fixed. So a dash x, b dash x, c dash x, you write derivative. The remaining 2 rows you should write same. That is p of x, q of x, r of x will write same. And even this f of x, g of x, h of x, you will write it as it is. In the second determinant, to differentiate second row, so you will get p dash x, q dash x, r dash x. And first row will be same. A of x, b of x, c of x will be same. Third row is also same. That is f of x, g of x, h of x is also same. And in this differentiate last row, that is f dash x, g dash x, h dash x, and write the remaining rows same. So you'll be writing here a of x, b of x, c of x, and p of x, q of x, r of x. So differentiate one row at a time. In the first determinant, differentiate first row, write the other 2 rows same. In the second determinant, differentiate second row, write first and third row same. In third determinant, differentiate the third row, write the other 2 rows same. This is how you differentiate the derivative of a determinant. So finding the derivative of determinant. So I'll just take one problem on this and we can conclude. Let f of x is equal to determinant of x cube sin x cos x 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube, where p is a constant. Where p is a constant. Then we have to find out d cube by dx cube of f of x at x equal to 0. So the options are p plus p cube, p square, and next is independent of p. So here they have not asked for first derivative, they have asked for third derivative. So let's see if it simplifies easily or is it complicated. So f of x is equal to, so it would be easy because 2 rows are having constants only. X cube sin x cos x 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube. So basically what they asked is nothing but the third derivative at x equal to 0, something like f triple dash of 0 is what you are supposed to find out. So when you write first derivative, we'll be differentiating first row. So x cube has a derivative 3x square, then sine will have a derivative cos will have a derivative minus sine. Remaining rows you write same, that is 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube. Then in the second determinant you can see that we'll differentiate second row to get all zeros. So when it is written as sum of 3 determinants, you can see that the first row will write same, third row will write same. When you differentiate second row, you will get a 0. In the last one, when you differentiate third row, you will get zeros. Remaining rows, you will write same. So dash means you are writing it same. So if any determinant has all elements in a row 0, it is 0 only. So second and third you can neglect. So if in a 3 by 3 determinant, if second row and third row are constants, it is enough to write only one determinant instead of 3 determinants and just differentiating first row. Now next time you can apply the same rule. If you want to find f double dash x now, so you can keep the second and third row same, differentiate the first row. So what is the derivative of first row? Again 3x square will have a derivative 6x. Cos x will have a derivative minus sin x, and minus sin x is minus of cos x. The remaining rows 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube, we can write it same. Next time when you differentiate, again differentiate only first row, it will give you 6 minus of sin 0, sin x derivative is cos it is minus sin, will become plus sin, and then 6 minus 1 0 p square p cube. So now after performing the derivative, if you want f triple dash of 0, put x as 0, it will give you 6, and minus of cos 0 is 1, sin 0 is 0. So when you do that, what happens is, clearly you can see that 2 rows are matching, and in a determinant you have a property that if 2 rows or columns are identical in a determinant or they are same, if 2 rows are same or identical, either the 2 rows are same or identical, the determinant will be 0. So since first row and second row are same, the value of determinant becomes 0. So this is how you can solve such questions. So I tried to cover almost everything in derivatives, and if required, we can have some session on miscellaneous problems later. So guys, I hope all of you enjoyed the class and all of you liked the class. So you can just like the video in case you are okay with the video. Okay. So let us end the class now. Thank you so much.